Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our April 14th, 2022 Board of Trustees meeting, Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District. I'd like to call to order at 6:30. Do roll call, please.
Kelly Jensen, present.
Ballsgraf here.
Brianna Taxoni has advised me that she will be online, but she is absent today. And Mr. Wadsworth is en route, should be here shortly. Tim Jorgensen present. We have 3 present for a quorum. Item 1C, regular board meeting agenda. I have a motion that I'd like to make to amend to table items 11A, the Davis demographics presentation, and 12A, the second read and adopt of the safety plan for further study. Is there a second?
Mr. President, just need
Yeah.
1 second to find it.
Okay.
Let's do the numbers again.
11A and 12A.
Okay.
To table to the our first meeting in May. The second read and adoption of the comprehensive safety plan.
Call the question.
Oh, do we have a second?
I have a second. So we're
Okay.
tabling 11A and 12A, correct?
11A, the Davis demographics presentation, and 12A, the second read adoption, 2021 comprehensive safety plan tabling to the next meeting. Do we have a second? Call the question.
I second. Kelly Jensen, aye.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Brianna Taxoni is absent. Chad has not arrived. Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 3.
Chad's on the Zoom.
Oh, there he is. Oh, Chad. Okay, Chad, you have,
Brianna's on the Zoom too.
okay, so go ahead, Brianna, it's up for you.
I,
Excuse me, can I call something, Mr. Jorgensen?
Yes,
We have to go back and do roll call. You have Brianna is absent.
yes, okay. So we're gonna amend,
And
go
Chad.
back and correct the roll call. We have present Kelly Jensen, Ken Paulsgraf, Brianna Taxoni is online, correct?
that's correct.
And Mr. Wadsworth is online,
Yes, correct.
and Tim Jorgensen present. So we have a 5-0 in attendance. So I'll review again
That's 6:34 PM.
at 6:34 PM. Moving to item 1C, the regular board meeting, I move that we table items 12A, the Davis demographics presentation, and 12A, the second read and adoption of the comprehensive safety plan to the May 10th board meeting. Kelly has seconded. Any discussion by the board? Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Taxoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. 5-0, motion carries to amend the agenda. Ms. Shaw. Was there anything that you wanted to do with the agenda, or are we all set?
Yeah, there's an amendment to the FAR.
I apologize. There's an amendment to the PAR.
Okay. That's 10A.
Yes, 10A. I apologize. We have added,
You want to discuss that amendment in open session? Are we going to pull the PAR off the agenda? No?
No, it's not going to be pulled.
Then there will be an amended PAR discussed.
During the time.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll do that when we bring it up.
okay,
Okay. So we're all set. Do I have a motion to approve the board agenda as amended?
Second.
Chad second.
Kelly moves, Chad seconds. Call, any discussion by board? Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Ballsgraf, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye. Sorry.
Tim Jorgensen, I, the agenda, board agenda as amended is approved. Public participation, board meetings. Do we have any?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. 2A. Closed session. Procedure reports the closed session is available for conference with labor negotiations, public employee discussion, conference with legal counsel, and student matters. Do I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
Chad moves.
Chad moves.
I'll second.
Brianna seconds. Any discussion by board? Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Balls grab aye.
Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I will be adjourned to closed session at 6:37. Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're back from closed session. Going to reconvene the regular board meeting at 7:31. Ms. Jensen, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Bring up your heart, ready to begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Copy of the civility statement. The civility statement is for folks who want to address the board, communicate clearly and concisely with a respect for the time of others. Listen objectively, carefully considering the options of others. Understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, or intimidating behaviors. Understand and respect the district policies and procedures. Maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past. Report of action taken during closed session. The only thing that I have to report from the the board will consider and may act on any of the following items in closed session. Any action taken in closed session will be reported in open session as required by law. Closed session may be called any time during a formal meeting by the motion of the Board of Education for the purpose of discussing personnel problem, pupil problem, a purchase, consultation on a legal problem with an attorney, and with employee organizations in regard to salaries and or fringe benefits. All formal action involving such matters must be made in the open meeting. The only action that I report for is taken in closed session was to approve a staff recommendation regarding student number ID 20220100595. Six, public comments and report recognition and reports. Public comments and recognition. Please submit a request to speak to the board and address the board president. Trustee cards located at the exhibit table for any agendized or non-agendized item to the superintendent prior to the meeting. Not more than 3 minutes are allotted to any one speaker and no more than 20 minutes on the same subject. This portion of the agenda is for comments and recognitions and reports to the board and is not intended to be a question and answer period. If you have questions for the board, please provide the board president with a copy and an administrator will provide answers at a later date. Ms. Shaw, do we have any?
Yes, we have 5.
5? Okay. So the first individual who wishes to comment is Ms. Tracy Constant. If you could step to the microphone, state your name for the record, please. We'll ask that everyone please hold the microphone close because we have 2 board members, Mr. Wadsworth and Ms. Taxoni, that are online so that they can be sure to hear the comments.
Tracy Costin. Thank you to Superintendent Sahakian and Board Member Taxoni for attending the Spring Festival on Saturday. This was the first time in 2 years that ASB sports teams and PTSO had an opportunity to fundraise in a large setting. Now for the other. I was recently contacted by a longtime dedicated teacher in this district with concerns about the future of AP classes at Vasquez. And all of you were copied. And in my response, in which I copied all of you and the superintendent, I asked a question: who gave this directive? When did this change happen? It wasn't spoken about in open session. I understand about serial communications in Brown Act, but one of you could have responded or had staff respond, but I got nothing. Not a thank you. We'll see that it gets on the agenda, or go away, Mrs. Costin, we don't care. Nothing. In past years, there was a board member who would contact me with my concerns and would try to diffuse the situation so I would not come here in public comment. So I know one of you could contact me if you wanted to. You do have more than one or two constituents. But you chose to dismiss me, as some of these teachers are being treated dismissively, as seen in past meetings when ADO representatives and others come up stating real issues, and there's no follow-up to address their concerns on how you can support them. You have staff right here at every meeting to ask questions. Ask what is being done to support our teachers, to retain the few that we have. What are we actively doing to attain new ones? Are we going to job fairs, anything? It may be awkward or uncomfortable, but that's part of your job, to ask them in open session so we can hear and see what is happening in our district. You had a presentation that included $11 million in reserves, but no one asked staff vital questions during open session. Why is it we have 11 million in reserves, but teachers and the admin are leaving mid-year? And why is that? Are they being treated poorly by district admin when they ask legitimate questions? Because let me be clear, we will lose additional teachers if you do not get a hold of district admin and their adversarial and dismissive behavior towards teachers, staff, and community members, which is part of the problem. Some staff have left mid-year, and I know this because I've spoken to them. The common denominator seems to have been an adversarial and dismissive response. Our teachers are in the classroom every day. They know what is needed. You cannot state we are a district that offers AP if it's watered down. And additionally, we have to have the fundamentals in place. We need English and math teachers. This is what the kids get tested on by the state, and not long-term subs or teachers hired now for June. Our teachers should be treated with respect and their concerns addressed, or we will lose them. And that is the legacy you'll leave behind, the exodus of staff and horse logos and gin cameras.
The next commenter is Terry Owens. Welcome, Ms. Owens. Sorry, welcome, Ms. Owens. Speak, you just state your name for the record, please.
Carrie Owens. So I've been a teacher in this district for 16 years. In those years, I have never addressed the board at a meeting with concerns. I'm highly concerned about what is happening at Vasquez High School. These are some of my concerns. The advanced placement students have been combined with the regular English 12 class. This has been necessary since there was a very small class. Why was there a small class? While multiple students are getting AP credit, it is because at the beginning of the school year, multiple students were allowed to take an inferior AP literature online class through Apex. This is my first concern, that we are letting students take an inferior Apex courses instead of courses with teachers. This will lessen the rigor, lower AP scores, and make students less prepared to succeed in the college environment. You may wonder how I know it is an inferior class. I've talked with many students about what they're doing in the AP class. I asked about AP prompts. One student said she wrote a short story for her prompt. That is not an essay. She also stated that she had only a few practice AP prompts. Another student asked me for assistance preparing for the AP exam. She had only had one practice multiple AP choice test and wasn't sure what the essays were. I added her to my AP classroom so that she could do the 6 practice AP multiple choice tests that my students had already completed. My next concern is the combining of the AP literature and regular classes, and the district's viewpoint that the AP class is just differentiation of a regular English 12 class. They have made the statement that I should just differentiate instruction for the AP kids. These are two entirely different classes with a different curriculum, different grading scale, and different standards, AP versus California Common Core standards. I have continued to teach both classes concurrently because I do not want to penalize high performers who chose to take a more difficult course instead of the regular English 12 course. However, it is just not right to ask teachers to teach combined classes without offering the stipend to account for the additional hours needed to plan and prep for the two courses. Many teachers would just differentiate, and that is not in the best interest of our AP students. For the past 8 or so school years, I've been given brand new classes each year, sometimes with less than a week's notice to prep. I've never complained because with all the turnover, I considered that extenuating circumstances. This year was ridiculous. At the beginning of the school year, I was given 2 classes I hadn't taught in multiple years. I didn't have the whole summer to prep. I was told at the very end of the summer, and that was after asking repeatedly. Then in the middle of the school year, I was given 2 new classes with a few days' notice. One of those classes was not in my credential area or even in my knowledge base. I even had to ask what that class was. I had absolutely no idea. How can it be good for students to have teachers who are not given time to prep for new classes? How can it be good for students to have teachers who do not know the subject area in which they are forced to teach? Yeah, I'm on a second page now. I currently teach 5 different classes, of which 3 I haven't taught before or taught when it was a different curriculum. 2 of these were given to me with a few days' notice, a few days. Overwhelming our teachers is not good for the students. You know, I've taught many of your kids or I've taught with you. You know how much I care about the success and well-being of our students. Things need to change for them to get the high-quality education that they deserve, especially when they are asking for rigor. We need to stop giving kids Apex courses when an on-campus course is available. We need to not combine AP and regular classes. If that means hiring personnel to do so, so be it. How do you envision VHS in the next 10 years? Do you envision an online-only environment? Do you envision a school that has no true AP courses? Or do you envision rigorous courses taught by prepared, credentialed teachers and AP students who are embracing a difficult curriculum? I know which school I would like to have to retire from.
Thank you, Ms. Owens. The next commenter will be Mr. Chip Krolik. Welcome, Mr. Krolik. Please state your name for the record.
I'm Chip Krolik. My name is Chip Krolik, and I am the math teacher at Vasquez High School. I say I am the math teacher because we need 2 more math instructors at the high school. My colleague teaches Algebra 2, Calculus, AP Calculus, but is also in charge of ASB, is an after-school coach, and teaches physics. I bear the sole responsibility of all the state-tested math, and I frankly don't like it. We need 2 more math teachers to share this load. Currently, apart from my consumer math and pre-calculus classes, all of my algebra and geometry classes are over contract limit for the number of students in the classroom. My algebra classes are at 37 and 38, and my geometry classes are that big as well. Yes, that's 38 students in one of the small classrooms that we have. And I do not have any instructional assistants to support my IEP and 504 students adequately in any of my classes. We need 2 more math teachers to bear this burden. I say, to say the least, this has been a most stressful year for me. In fact, I'm taking time off this week just for some self-care for that reason, with all of the planning and stress that has gone on through this year. which is why I've been doing a lot of self-care. One of the reasons I chose to work here at Vasquez High School was the low student-teacher ratio, which I experienced when I first was hired. I came from a school that also had low student-teacher ratios, and I was able to attend to my students' needs better than I have this year. Even being under lockdown was better than this year for me and my students. I felt I could have more of a direct impact when we were online than I feel I have when we're back in person, unfortunately. This was and should not be the selling point to come to Vasquez. I'm sorry, this was and should be the selling point to come to Vasquez, the low student-teacher ratios, which enables teachers and students to be able to know each other, to be able to be in smaller groups, to get some of the one-on-one attention that they deserve. This is not true now, but can be remedied by hiring 2 math teachers to share the load of responsibility and to actually offer more class choices. These overfilled classrooms do not benefit the students nor me. What I'm asking for is simple. I'd like to see a job opening for 2 more full-time math instructors to be posted as soon as possible. Within the week or so, that interviews can be conducted and candidates can be chosen to prepare for the next school year. I'm asking for additional staffing support to be provided as soon as possible to alleviate this situation for next year. In short, we need 2 more math teachers to share the burden of instruction and give the students the attention, the choices, the options they need to succeed, and to give me some relief from bearing the burden of math instruction alone. I do not wish to experience what I've experienced this year again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Crowell. The next speaker will be David Mangle. Mr. Mangle, state your name for the record, please.
Nathan Mangle. Good afternoon. When I first thought about this presentation, I wrote a speech that was pretty negative. I got to thinking about it and realized that that was part of the issue here, the negativity. So I rethought my approach. We are here today to let the district office, the school board, and the locals who came to this meeting know that we as teachers and staff feel that there is a serious disconnect between the district office staff and the teachers and administrators that are on the 3 campuses. I have plenty of examples that personally happened to me, which is where my previous speech was going. But how does this help us close the gap between us? It doesn't. So instead, I'd like to discuss a few things I believe could and should be done to help us all heal so we can do what we are all here to do, help the young community of Acton and Agua Dulce become responsible and productive citizens who are properly educated and ready for the world and what it has to offer. I believe the first thing that needs to happen is that we need to have to stop looking at each other as the enemy. I've had vindictive responses to genuine concerns given to me by the district office several times this school year. I personally have written emails that were accusatory and could have been toned down. Neither of these types of reactions, either the district office or my own, were appropriate or conducive to a healthy school system. We need to be able to communicate politely and with the intention of helping each other. Students need to come first would be the second thing I would suggest needs to be addressed and focused on. There has been a situation on the campuses where students with special services have not been getting them, even when we have had more providers than we've had the entire time I've been in this district. I am not sure, but I'm guessing these services have not been provided because the providers were told to do other things, such as complete missing paperwork for legal purposes. The students need their services first, always. We should worry about the paperwork after. This philosophy should be universal for all of our students. Help them first, worry about virtually everything else after the students have been helped. The last thing I think needs to happen is that the teachers and staff on the 3 campuses need to feel like they are valued and offer any and all help from the district office. We are the front line. Us. We are the ones that help the students every day in and around the class. We do not feel supported. The morale right now on our campus is completely crushed. Currently, there's no support, or at least it doesn't feel that way. And we know what it looks like when the front line doesn't get support from the rear. It's happening right now in Ukraine. Let's not let it happen here. This is goofy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mangle. The next speaker is Ms. Heather Lundquist. I believe she's online.
Hi, can you hear me?
Heather, just state your name before you begin your comments, please.
Heather Lundquist. I could put on video, but it won't allow me. So is that okay?
That's fine. We can hear you.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Heather Lundquist, and I teach 9th and 10th grade English, video production, and broadcast journalism at Vasquez High School. I've been an Acton resident since 1980 and a teacher in the AAD-USD for 21 years. While being a teacher in a small district has its benefits, it also has drawbacks. I love the connections I've made with students and staff over the years and the small town community events that bring us all closer together. However, the support at the district level has posed some challenges, and I would like to express my concern of the disconnect many of us are experiencing this year. As our student population has decreased, our class sizes have increased. The amount of teachers at each site has diminished over the years as well, leaving those of us who are still here to teach multiple subjects at the upper high school level. We teachers are being overworked and undervalued. Some of us at the high school are teaching 5 to 6 different subjects, which is taking its toll on our work and personal lives and causing unnecessary stress. We need to be supported by the district and be respected for our knowledge, experience, and dedication to our students. But lately, it seems decisions are being made by district personnel that negatively affect our teachers and students directly in the classroom. Decisions like changing class courses for teachers mid-year with only the winter break to prepare, or collapsing elective courses that are designed to be separate. These are leveled electives that train and prepare students in that particular field with the hope we've sparked an interest in them so they can be challenged in the higher level electives the following school year. Unfortunately, collapsing classes sacrifices the curriculum and content that can be taught. Over the years, it seems as teachers retire or leave our district, their position doesn't get refilled. The position is completely dropped, and the remaining teachers at the site must pick up the slack. Instead of reducing our teacher numbers and not replacing teachers when they leave, we need to hire more teachers to help us grow our student population. The more courses we have to offer, the more students will want to attend our schools. We need more elective and core subject teachers. We need the district to hear our voices and respect our ideas and work with us and our administrators to come up with solutions that work for students and teachers alike. I love our community and our schools, and I want to see our district and teachers move forward together in a positive direction for the good of our students. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Lundquist. Item 6B, Golden Spotlight.
Is there one more?
No.
You sure?
Are there any other commenters? There's no other card. Do you have anything, Ms. Shaw, on the Golden Spotlight?
Yes, I do. The Golden Spotlight. This evening, I have Miss Hope there in the audience from Meadowlark. If you would like to please stand, I would like to read something about you from your principal. Hope has a heart of gold. The students at Meadowlark just love her. The students know that she is kind and fair on the playground and in the NPR for snack and lunch. She taught the students to play kickball so well that they now are organizing themselves without adult help on the field. This is quite a feat for 6 and 7-year-olds. Hope has implemented the golden ticket where students earn extra recess for good behavior. Her positivity and dedication to students at Meadowlark is evident in all that she does. And another recent example that I'm personally aware of is when she successfully saved a student in the cafeteria from choking. She saw the student having a little incident and she handled it, the situation without hesitation. So I would personally like to thank you for that. So congratulations, Hope, for being our golden spotlight this board meeting. Join us at the front for a photo op with the school board, please.
Okay, moving right along. 7, correspondence, proposals, and reports. 7A, ALA representative.
Good evening, Sheldon Sparks. It's good to see you all. Hope everybody is doing really well. Just wanted to come and say what I normally say, speak from the heart and speak from my perspective. A couple things that I've noticed really last couple of weeks that has gone well was Springs Festival. It was good to see the community there. There was hundreds of people there. Kids were back on campus. Life was returning. It felt like a normal event. No masks, no nothing. And it was good just to see the campus full. Excellent event. I appreciate all the ladies who put on there. There was about 6 or 7 of them, and they did a fabulous job. It was good to see the dancing out there. It was good to see Mr. Spielman out there. It's community. It was also good to see some of you guys walking around campus and connecting with people and just getting your nose in there and seeing what's going on. That's much appreciated. It really is, and it speaks a lot to Ada. The next thing I'd like to share was athletics. Athletics is doing very well right now. We had a basketball tournament at Vasquez. Again, maybe 300 or 400 different people from all over the community coming and watching those basketball games and watching our staff put it on. Don Schneider and Mario Claus did a fabulous job. It was good to see board members there. I saw Chad, I saw Brianna, I heard that you were there. I didn't see you. But it was good. I don't know if you guys were there, but it was good to see community. It was good to see people using our campus. It gets our name out there. It shows us who we are. It gives us a chance to shine. It gives us a chance to be out in the community saying, hey, this is what we do, this is who we are, and this is what we're about. I like to say the hirees that we've hired, the coaches that we've hired, the football coach, getting out into the community, starting a little flag football league for little Actonites. And he's trying to plant seeds and grow a program. I see his commitment level, and I anticipate good things from that program. I see the basketball coach, again, putting on a basketball league for our little types of the community and reaching out and doing amazing things. Lots of people in there on the weekend, and it's nice to see them respecting the property, but also using the property. And so a lot of good things are going on. I see people who are committed to casting the vision, committed to reaching out to the community, committed to showcasing the best of what we do as a district. And so it's good to see that. Some things I'm concerned about. If you listen to our teachers, I think it's pretty clear that there's some frustration level there. Maybe we don't all feel it the same, but we are all definitely the most trying year as a teacher I've ever experienced has been this year, even worse than when we had to cut down mid-year. Teachers are crazy. I'm going to tell you right now, they're literally crazy. We are hanging on by a thread and we're doing the best we can. And we would like to hear a little, hey, you got this every once in a while. A lot of times we feel criticism. A lot of times we sense criticism, and that wears a person out. And so I just want you to know that leadership starts from you guys. Okay, it really does. A kind word goes a long way. You catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And so I know those are old adages, but the truth is there if you see what I'm trying to say. We have some issues with what's going on with the collective bargaining agreement. There's stipends in there that we are looking to, wondering why we can't have access to those. When we are teaching a combination class, when you are teaching 2 Spanish classes, Spanish 1 and Spanish 3, with 2 different curriculums and 2 different syllabuses and 2 different pacing guides and 2 different skill sets, that's a combination class. If you're asking a math teacher to teach 3 different classes in one period, that's a combination set. That's a combination class. And so even though we don't always see it in the language, it's there and we feel it. And so your decisions to cut staff so deeply, where we're putting 39, 40 kids into a classroom, okay, that's a slight exaggeration, but 37 to 39, okay, scores won't improve. Okay, we already are behind the 8 ball with this group. This COVID-19 screwed with this senior class more than any other group. They feel it the most. And instead of supporting them, instead of giving them more resources, we cut resources. And we're going to feel that. And we as a society have to carry that burden. We let our students down. We let our community down. And so if this is an emergency, I don't know what is. And I know we sit there and say, it's about the numbers, it's about dollars, I get it. I do. I really do. But it's also about the kids we serve. It's also about the people that are in the trenches every day, getting paid a fair wage for things that they're doing. And so I'm sorry that I have to come here and always bring this kind of perspective. This is a great place to work. The environment is fantastic. However, if the environment becomes too tough, you're going to see turnover. And I don't think turnover is a good thing. It really isn't. Okay, it keeps us from attaining our goals. Anyways, thank you for your time tonight. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Swift. CSCA representative? No CSCA representative? Student representative, Ms. Rudd.
So just for an update regarding the schools, in the last 2 weeks, we've had a few events in Vasquez, like Mr. Sparks was talking about. We had the basketball tournament, which was really fun to see. I was proud to see our middle school students, doing so well. And then we had the dance mort, which was put on by senior class, which was big success. And then also the spring festival, which it was really nice to see. Just everything seemed normal for once within the past few years. Our sports are doing really well, baseball and softball. We both had games today, and I believe both of us won. Baseball, I think there's a score around 17-0, and softball 10-7. And then regarding the middle school, they have PBIS Minute to Win It assembly tomorrow with and then basketball. Both teammates the finals for the first time ever at the tournament, and the girls were placed 3rd in the league and boys placed 2nd. Volleyball just started up with games starting when they returned from 3rd grade, and the 4th grade roadshow is on the 28th. Looking forward to hosting the 4th graders at High Desert. And then regarding Mental Art, Mental Art is starting to work on Mental Art News Network. believe it's similar to our NTV, and student council will give morning announcements using a green screen live via Zoom every morning. And students are getting ready for the spring concert happening May 24th or 25th. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Rudd. Board member comments. Start with Ms. Jensen, please.
I don't have much this evening. First of all, thank you, Haley, because I know you have a very busy schedule, and so I appreciate all the time you spend in getting us that information. Just a big shout out to the basketball teams. I was not able to attend, unfortunately, because I had to go to a Kiwanis fundraiser, but I was happy to hear that that's going so well. I want to thank everyone for the sports program. I think sports are very important to engage our students. I'm really happy to see that the sports program is really doing well here, both at the middle school and at the high school. Thank you for the Spring Festival. For all those that participated, we appreciate that. And that's all I have for this evening. Have a wonderful spring break. I do hear the teachers, what they're talking about. Of course, I want to process everything about the comments tonight. And I have some further questions, but as far as that goes, I just want to wish all of you a restful spring break because I know you need it. So thank you so much.
Good evening. I'll start by saying, without violating HIPAA laws or FERPA laws, these masks are not on by choice. They're out of necessity, and we'll leave it at that. COVID's still out there and it still hits people, and you don't know who has it sometimes when you're near them. So don't forget that. Protect yourself. We're coming out of the woods, but this is it. About sports, I've been around here a long time. I am seeing higher levels of measurable success in the sports program at lower levels. That means high desert. I remember when we were having a hard time staffing teams at the high school level. And I think we're going through a burp right now, but I will say that again, when you're hanging banners in gym, that's measurable success. And we're seeing that at some of the, I can't remember when the 7th and 8th graders were winning and participating in championships at this level. So that's a really good sign. Some people come to high schools to have the ability to play because, you know, some of the bigger schools, those kids are ready to go into pro baseball already. And some people want to play baseball. And there is a chiropractor in town who left Vasquez when it was trailer houses, ended up going to a college, getting a scholarship at Culver Stockton College in Canton, Missouri, where I lived when I was between 6 and 8 years old. It was a small world. I saw his diploma and then come back here. So sports are a good way to get out there, get more education, and come back and learn something that benefits the community. He's a doctor now. Okay. Let's get into some dicey stuff. I think everybody with the public knows that there's collective bargaining going on right now. That's why it was on the closed session agenda. I'm not going to comment about anything about collective bargaining. That's not our role. Our role is to sit in the back, and when everybody works together as a team and comes up with a solution, we look at it, and then you can bet that I will ask Mr. Marza to lay out the next 5 years and what that looks like. As part of that, please keep a note that LACO writes us a little letter every year and tells us what they think that we should do from whatever they're doing in LA. And within that, an ADA fluctuations or assignments of position controls on administrative numbers of that. Please include that in there as well. So I think we all know we had a lot of money coming in that was going to fall off. I think we're going through that right now. I think it was really easy being subsidized like that, but now it's become even more important that the classroom performance is measurable, and whatever's coming out right now is a performance of the class. It's not somebody pumping charter money in here, creating a false economy. So I'll leave that at that. I do want to talk a little bit about this differentiated learning because I'm seeing it elsewhere. Santa Monica School District, I'm going to be very candid here. There's this idea that oh, just dangerous ground. You got SPED kids. The gentleman spoke of it tonight. They have IEPs. Sometimes the people that are actually responsible for delivering the IEPs are kind of in the room, but they don't really say, hey, I got 10 more like that. I really can't do this because the culture of that doesn't let them do that because an administrator, why are you doing that? 15 more are going to do that. That's just the nature of SPED. But equally problematic is the gate kids. There's a problem with identifying them young. Because God forbid you have a group of kids over here that are brainiacs and are going to be rocket scientists and stuff I can never be. If you give those kids any attention, then you're an elitist. I think some of the teachers know what I'm talking about. So the SPED kids, the kids at the other end of the scale, getting resources to them is equally challenging. What scares me about education, what I'm seeing right now is there are people who are coming from inside saying, Title I kid over here, socioeconomically disadvantaged kid over here, these kids over here, they never make it into the GATE group or the gifted. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I think things are changing. I think tolerance is different now, but I think what you've got is you've got a group of individuals who internally at the mid-level of the process, and I'm not talking about here, I reference Santa Monica Unified School District, where you get a group of people from the middle ranks start representing what appear to be protected groups and then start pushing a message up that these kids aren't getting this. And if we put all these kids together in a group, that the lower performers will learn from the higher performers, and they call this differentiated learning. And it's where education is going. Because the bottom line is, if I start talking about these things and telling my superintendent, I want this on the agenda, and the board says, I don't believe in the theory of it, then all of a sudden certain cards start being played, and you all know what I'm talking about. The unfortunate part about this is, just like with the charter thing, the state would not hand down anything that said, you don't do this, here's the bottom line. The county wouldn't, so you end up with some judge in San Diego finally setting the law for the whole state of California. Everybody is detached. Here's what I do know. When people are looking and deciding who's going to come into college, at what college, and maybe what kind of academic scholarship they're going to earn, what do you think they look for? They look for rigor. They want to know, have you been working hard, and what is the level of performance that was expected out of you? There's the detached, because what's happening in public education and public high schools, that's being thrown out the window, but the college people, they're still looking for it. And that presents a huge challenge. Here's what I know. Apex. Apex to me started off, my understanding of Apex is, let's say you had some type of accident or illness and you could not go to class. Apex was a way for you to make up lost time. I don't think there's any program that replaces a teacher in a classroom. And I don't believe that a teacher in a classroom looking at kids on a screen is able to spot me in the back disrupting kids or not paying attention or doing whatever I'm doing. That all started taking place in the chat room. So there's nothing like a teacher being in the classroom, because part of being a successful teacher is not to run through some curriculum that's being forced upon you to teach because somebody wants to do differentiated learning. It's about your ability to look at a kid and say, you're falling behind, you're speeding up, I've got to juggle all these balls at once. So then jamming everybody together with all these levels of curriculum. Well, LACO is telling you, oh, for X 0.57 kids, you get 1.35 teachers. The formula doesn't make sense. But being in a classroom with kids makes sense if you're a dedicated teacher. Teacher is about managing the individuals. Now throw in 10 or 12 different IEPs and people moving stuff around in the middle of the year. You get new people coming in. Oh, I don't like this about SPED. I don't like that about SPED. I'm going to put these people over here without prior written notice. And next thing you're running around fighting off attorneys more than you are focusing on the kids. I fully understand the problems, believe me. And I do appreciate the way they're articulated because I understand them far more. My description is much more say tart is the better word. I want to know, in what world do students just decide, I'm going to go on a mass exodus off to Apex because I don't like my teacher, I don't like something they said, or I don't like something they did. What's the mass exodus about Apex? That's a question for staff. I would like the answer. Why do 20 kids drop out of a classroom suddenly overnight and jump onto Apex? I think that's part of the problem. I want to know the answer to that. There's something else. I go to law school. There are people in the class that want to know if the test was, it was open book. Yeah, everybody goes to take the California bar exam. They have an open book and you can use Google to get the answers, right? No, you can't. COVID and the type of learning we had has changed the system from rote memory to kids thinking, oh, I can just go on here and do whatever I want and get the answer. And there's no retention of things. There's no performance. And then if my teacher wants me to get back to that, while the state's jamming differentiated learning about it, the teacher's in an area of what am I, the homework police now? Do I stop you from doing this? It's a very challenging time for teaching. And I think some kids, even college kids, don't understand the expectation that they're going to put all the answers and you can go on Quizlet and get everything. When you're starting to become an attorney or a doctor or something like that, when you get into the surgery room, there is no Google when the person's heart is dying right in front of you. So I think that I don't know the answer to how you manage through this, but there's just rampant, what I would have called cheating back in the old days, because if you can't name it on a computer, you don't have to learn. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge in education. And plus, I don't like it when people who actually work and do the work and educate themselves are grouped in with people who just didn't do the work. So I get the AP thing. So that's about the best I can do, guys. Enjoy spring break as much as you can. I hope you get some relaxation, and then we'll be back here fighting with each other in about what, a month? That's it for me.
Board member, Ms. Taxoni is online. Brianna, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, you're up, please.
I want to first apologize. I have internet service that's going in and out, so I've popped off and on. So I sincerely apologize to those that are in attendance and to my fellow board members. I really wanted to be there tonight. Last minute, I made the decision to try to do online, and I can't do it all, and I've learned that. So lesson learned, and again, I sincerely apologize. I did hear most of the public comments. To be honest, the public comments are what I was agonizing about missing, because I had heard that some of our staff were going to comment, and I really did want to give you the respect and listen to you in person. And I'm sorry that I'm not there. Like I said, I watched and I listened to most of it. If you guys could do me a favor and email me what you read, because I did miss a couple of things that cut out, and I would really like to hear that. I would appreciate it, because I owe you that respect of really making sure that I hear and see what you said. As far as the disconnect that I heard, when I was an employee and when I was a union president, I felt the disconnect from the district and the board to the school sites and the staff. I know how that feels. So if there's one thing that I can attempt to do as a board member is fight and strive to bring that together for the best of our students. We are all here for our students, and we all need to recognize that. I will comment individually to certain things that I heard once I get those emails. But I just appreciate you guys coming and speaking to the board. I know that's not easy. So I will end this quickly on a couple of high notes. I was able to go see the Vasquez versus Quartzel softball game. Man, those girls played hard and they rocked it. What a great fun team to watch. So that was really exciting. They're having a great season, that softball team. So congrats to them. And also, I was at the High Desert Schools to Watch Assembly, and I was able to go to the High Desert Basketball Championships, and I did wear my 50-50 shirt as promised at the last board meeting. And I was also able to attend the Vasquez Spring Concert, Spring Festival. And I just want to thank everybody that had anything to do with putting all of those things on, because it was a lot of fun. And I really appreciated being invited. And thank you all so much. That's all.
Thank you, Brianna. Board member, Mr. Wadsworth is also online. Chad, you're up.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry that I'm not in attendance in person tonight. A little bit of miscommunication, and so unfortunately I'm joining you online. I want to acknowledge Carrie Owens, Chip Kralik, Nathan Mangle, Heather Lundquist. I appreciate you guys speaking tonight and bringing to light some of your concerns. Your concerns don't go unheard, and know that conversations are going on, and we're trying to make it better for everybody involved. We know you guys are working hard, and it's we know it's the hardest year that you guys have ever experienced, and that goes across the board to most of us. It's just been one crazy thing after another, and my heart goes out to you guys, and we'll see. We're trying to do our best for you guys. Sheldon Sparks, thanks for coming out and giving us your report. It was great to see the High Desert tournament. I got to take my lunch break and come up from Burbank and watch the girls play. Unfortunately, I wore the wrong school colors, unbeknownst to me. Not paying too much attention. I'm sorry, but it was great to watch the girls play their heart out, and just see the excitement around the gym, and seeing the other teams and schools come into our facilities, and just know that we have such an amazing, beautiful gym for all the youth in our area to enjoy. I had the opportunity to talk to Mario, the boys or the basketball coach, and the stuff that he has going on and the ideas, and just watching him engage parents and students. It's just a kind of a magical thing. It's great to see where that program's going. I haven't had the opportunity to meet a football coach or hear much about what that program is going to bring come football season, but a little bit tidbits I hear around town. People are excited. That's great. I did hear about the Paraclete Vasquez baseball game last weekend. Is one of my kids' closest friends plays for Paraclete, and the other half plays for Vasquez. So it was good to hear their commentary on how we buried Paraclete for a little bit. I also was able to attend the High Desert Schools to Watch assembly about a month ago, and it's so great to see what's going on at High Desert. It's amazing to see how that little gymnasium's coming together with the banners and the acknowledgments that the accomplishments the kids have had around our campus there, and just see the good things that Michelle Van Ornum and our front office staff and teachers that they're doing there. I hope we continue to grow in that direction. The thing that's concerning me right now, and I'll lightly touch on it, is that I'm hearing a lot of stuff around town as I meander through town, and I'm in a hardware store, I'm in a grocery store, or just over to a friend's house. And I've been in this town since I was 11 years old, and I have a lot of connections to a lot of people here. And I'm hearing over and over and over again how there's this disconnect from our district office to our schools, whether it be the elementary, the middle school, or the high school. And it's concerning to me, my first real big task when I got on was, as part of one of the board members, was to be able to pick a new superintendent. And, I dug my heels in pretty good for our superintendent, because I believe he was capable, and I still do believe he's capable. I believe our other two assistant superintendents are very capable people. But I keep hearing over and over again that there's this disconnect within that office, and there's a major disconnect with those superintendents and getting out to our schools. In my world, being the top person in my department, leadership starts with me. Every morning, I gather my troops around. I have approximately 60 people that work for me, and we stand in a big circle. And it's often a joke, oh, the Teamsters are having another talk. But you know what? I stand in that circle and I talk to everybody and I ask about concerns. I get to know who their families are. I get to know their kids' names. I get to hear any problem that they might have, and I listen to it. Do I have the time? No. I make the time because I feel that relationship with my employees is important. I feel that having a relationship with each individual person and them knowing that they can come into my office at any time and I will listen to them. That is leadership. We need to get to that point where our teachers feel like they're being heard, our staff feels like they're being heard, our front offices at each school feels like they're being heard, and they don't feel like they're being mistreated by district office staff, or that their concerns are being thrown under the carpet. I mean, we've had a year to perfect this, and it's like we're treading water. And I don't know why it is in this district, why it has to be so hard just to build relationships. Build relationships with your employees, get the morale up. We could go to the moon with this district, but it seems like we have this block. Oh, we can't cross this line because that's so-and-so's job, or we can't cross that line because it's so-and-so's job. Enough already. Let's come together, let's unite, and let's do what's good for our schools. I know it can be done. I have no doubt. Last thing I want to mention, and it's more a question, and somebody can answer it at a later time, that's fine. But I understand we're behind on like IEP evaluations, and we're trying to get caught up on all that. Is there any way that there's an outside organization that can come in and evaluate those IEP needs to get the ball rolling faster so that we can get through this, so that we can focus on the next thing down the road and get it off our plate? Again, I don't need an answer now, but if somebody could get that back to me, I'd really appreciate it. I think I'll leave it at that. I appreciate everybody for being here tonight, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. I got a few things I want to talk about. First thing that I want to make abundantly clear to everybody that's online and that's present is that, excuse me, I am exceptionally proud of our teachers and our staff on the sites where the trenches are, where they're working with the students. I say it, I tell everybody where I go. I work part-time for Cal State Bakersfield, and I work in the teacher credentialing department. And I look and I evaluate and I see teachers, and I'm constantly saying, hey, move down south, because I'm proud of the district and I'm proud of the work here. The teachers do exceptional work here. Do I know that it's hard? Absolutely, I know that it's hard. I taught 18 years at Vasquez, but I never had the challenge in my 18 years there that our teachers are experiencing now. That is not essentially anyone's problem. It's the way it was because of the circumstances that we had. but we're working together, and I agree with Mr. Wadsworth that we're coming together. That I get really saddened when I hear that the teachers don't hear a kind word. I don't know how to say it any other way, a kind word. You are very much appreciated. We respect your hard work. We appreciate the hard work that you're doing for your students. And we are working, and I'm saying for my colleagues on the board and myself and the staff, that things are changing. Things are happening. It's like you could see the light, but you just can't get there fast enough. And I get it. I constantly think and evaluate myself because I was a teacher, and I think about what would I be doing in this circumstance if I were teaching now during all the challenges and the mandates and the restrictions and the shutdowns and the online learning associated from the last 2 years. I've always thought, how would I survive that? How would I deal with that? And I constantly sit and evaluate in my head. And I understand the staff, several of the staff that spoke tonight were colleagues of mine when I was teaching there, and I respect their continued hard work. And I understand the challenges that Mr. Krolik expresses. No doubt in my mind that it's tough, but I know that he's committed to the best intentions of his students, and sometimes what he has to do, you have to take care of yourself to take care of your students. So teachers, please know, and I'll say it again, I say it every time I go to my students when I'm talking to them at Cal State Bakersfield about how they have to continue to work through the challenges. Continue to do this. Continue to work and do your best. I'm very proud of the teachers of Acton Agua Dulce at all 3 sites. I'm very proud of the staff that work and support the teachers. We have principals that have a tough job to do. And my task to them is get your job done. Lead your sites. Create the morale that makes your teachers work better. Don't wait for anybody else. There's things you can do at the site that will help your staff be more efficient. Work together as a team, as Mr. Wadsworth said. I'm disappointed to hear the constant refrain that we're cutting staff and that we're not operating. I look at the PAR report, and just like every other district surrounding us, we have 12, 13 open positions that we're constantly advertising. We're competing with districts throughout the county, throughout the state. Now, do we have a market that sells our product, that our staff, our community is the best? We're working on that. It's not, we just don't walk over to a wall and turn a light switch on and say, hey, look at Acton Agua Dulce. We have to build it from within, and those things are happening. There's positive things happening primarily because of the hard work at the staff at the sites. We've touched on it. Some of my colleagues have already touched on it, but I'm going to touch on it again because I think it's absolutely important. I am so proud of the high desert sports development and the products that the students are putting in there. Now, clearly, the kids are anxious to get back from COVID restrictions and get out there and play basketball and play volleyball and do these things. And it's fun to watch them as an adult. Now, I'm sad because I want to coach. I want to be out there coaching with them. And I'm sitting there, don't say anything, don't say anything. But I don't have to because there's volunteers in some regards, and there's staff that are taking on that important task to support these students to develop their skill level and their experience. So the high desert sports, we're hopefully working so that we don't lose 15, 20 kids that go someplace else. They come to high school. The Hawks fly over to the Mustangs, and then they start making their name as the Mustangs at our high school. And that to me is extremely important. And I think we do that by developing at that site so that they transition to the high school. And I'm Miss Van Ornum and the staff there are doing well. And kudos to the kids. They're working their tails off. I watched them play at the basketball championships, and it was fun to watch. People come, look at this little tiny gym on this campus, and we have something for them to see and be proud of that we can share. When I coached, I had to coach over at middle school. We had to do volleyball. We had to do everything over there. But now we have a gym, and we're taking advantage of these assets that we currently do have that we can make a difference for our students. So congratulations to all the high desert athletes as they fly their way to the Mustangs next year. Now, I've known Miss Owens for the entire time that she's worked there. She and I worked, we were roommates, we were classmates right across, and she was next to me. And I knew that the rigor in her classroom and her AP classes was substantial because I could hear it in my class. The debate that goes on, the rigor that goes on for an AP class, defending your position, defending the different literature. There is, I've spoken to the superintendent, I have exceptional challenges with blending standard English classes with an AP rigor. It's not doable, I get it. Now, is there circumstances that get us to this point? I'm not sure how that happened. When I first heard about it, I have just, can't see how it happens. It's unfortunate. I've read articles and I talked to my colleagues at Cal State Bakersfield, and they tell me time and again that the challenges that were forced upon us during the COVID pandemic, and then people going to online learning, students going to online learning, because it's easier. I can do it when I want to do it. I can do it late at night. I can work on a Saturday, Sunday, but there's not that interactive support, that debate amongst peers, and that rigor that's associated with when you're sitting in a seat in the classroom. The concern that they have, and I was reading an article, not in California yet, but I'm sure it's here because I've heard about it from COC, is that math and English students are enrolling in class and they're not ready for the rigors of college level work. So the college is telling them, well, your elective class, you have to retake this English to get up to speed, because even though you have senior English or you have AP English, you don't have the rigor to progress with your college education. When I was dean of students, I ran the education options and a other online program. I supervised it at the high school, and it was for credit recovery, makeup. Like Mr. Fallsgraf said, if a student was sick in this classroom, it was an opportunity for them to catch up and get back into the classroom. It wasn't somewhere to go and escape and find an easier way to get that credit. I agree 100% with Ms. Owens about the ease and the lack of rigor from an AP Apex class, which I cannot comprehend, and the rigors associated with in-class learning, where they have readings and they have debate and they have essays and they have writing skills that they have to meet. If that's what we're doing, we're making a mistake, that we're doing a disservice to our students. We need to make sure that we have that opportunity for rigor for AP. That's a draw that gets students to come to our campus. They want to go on to college, they want to take a test, they got to pass a test. They have to pass a score to get credit for AP at college. You can take the AP class, but if you don't pass the test, my mind and my understanding is you don't get the credit. We have students that have worked through the challenge. We had a student get a 5 on an AP class during online learning. So I know that we have the opportunity to serve our students. We need to make sure that we meet the needs of those students. So AP classes and differentiation, I get moving 2 classes together to help them out, but blending them with an AP class, move them in with an honors class. I don't know what the scheduling is. There was a breakdown there, and I'm sure that staff is going to be able to address that forthwith, because there's some real challenges there. Mr. Fallsgraf mentioned about athletics, and I think it's really terrific that we have the success of the athletics, and the doctor that he refers to is our chiropractor, is Dr. Cordova. I remember when I was coaching that he was on my sideline helping my athletes get better during taking care of them, because we're a small school. We don't have an EMT that's on the sideline. We have an ambulance sitting down in the end zone, but it's that special attention to our athletes and our students that we take, where we get volunteers, and he volunteered. He didn't charge us, and he'll do it again. And that's what we have to get back to with the development of our athletic program. The one thing about athletics is that it is a direct contribution to academic success in the classroom. If we have a competitive athletic program where the students, the men and women of our athletes, can excel at their different skill levels, they're going to succeed in the classroom. It is our biggest elective opportunity that we provide for students. We need to invest in it. We need to promote it. We need to advertise it, and we need to draw them. Athletics is important, yes, but academics comes first. Moving on. I had the privilege of attending the spelling bee at High Desert. Miss Trussell organized that, and I said, oh yeah, I'll read. Okay. So I'm down there and I'm looking at these words and I said, I'm glad that I'm reading these words. I'm not sure I would be able to sound them out and spell them. But I wanted to give a shout out to the students at High Desert that participated in that they qualified for and wanted to compete. It was Bentley Arndt, Kylie Finn, Patricia Rios, Brendan Blaine, Bella DeCavia, Emiliano Rojas, Atusa Makanad, I'm sure I misspelled that, Addison Walker, Alexis Van Ornum, and Carol Arias. It was coordinated by Miss Trussell, our teacher at the High Desert campus. There were volunteer judge, Miss Heather Goldstein, Ashley Carson, and Tommy Trussell was a high school alumni. Now it got down to words. We had to go to several rounds. And finally, the third place winner was Alexis Van Ornum. Second place was Emiliano Rojas. And the first place champion was Bella DeCavia. I don't recall which word she spelled, but I was glad she got it because the next one was really hard. Congratulations to all those students and the hard work that Ms. Trussell and the staff are doing at High Desert to promote our students and give them opportunities to compete. Looking down my thing here, I got my notes. Last thing is, I'm going to apologize because I thought our spring break was like 2 weeks ago. And I found out we're going on spring break this Friday. So I want to wish all of our students and our staff and our teachers to take an opportunity to recharge your batteries, look in the mirror and say, thank you for me for your hard work. Your hard work and your dedication and your challenges that you face and that you're working through will get better, but it's going to take us time. I wish you the best for the holiday break. If you're going to be please travel safely so that you can get back here and eat all the eggs that you want, even though they're expensive. Enjoy the eggs and happy Easter to everybody. All right, let's see, moving on. Consent agenda. The consent agenda includes items 9B, C, and D. Let me read those for you. 9B is the minutes from the regular board meeting of 2/24/22. 9C is the warrant register. And 9D is the Williams Settlement third quarter report for 2021. Do I have a motion to consider the consent calendar?
So moved.
Kelly moves.
Chad seconds.
Chad seconds. Board discussion?
I want to pull the Williams settlement, please.
Mr. Falsgraf wants to pull the Williams settlement. Okay. Any further discussion from the board? We'll pull the Williams report and the consent agenda will include items 9B and 9C, the minutes from the regular board meeting 2/24/22 and the warrant register. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Ms. Taxoni? Moving on, Chad?
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. We have a vote of 4-0, 1 absent. Okay, 9D, the Williams report, Ms. Shaw. Excuse me, do I have a motion to consider the Williams report?
I'll open it and with a second, I'll just make my comments brief. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Falsgraf, open.
Chad seconds.
Chad seconds. Thank
Could
you.
we zoom in on this a little bit? If that's possible. What this is, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Marza. This Williams lawsuit started off with campuses that basically you would find some campuses in a school district received absolutely no resources, while the more affluent and elite and all that, on the west side, those campuses would get everything. And you would have literally, let's go down and look at the categories. You got instructional materials, facilities, and teacher vacancy and misassignments. So this is a spot where people make complaints, formal complaints. And what I'm most concerned about is facilities here. This is the one group that never really gets much attention. This is broken glass. This is desks that are wobbly. This is things falling apart. This is lights that don't work. This is safety equipment that doesn't work. This is infestations of one thing or another. But this district and its facilities department, going back to Lynn David and the construction of the high school and everything being DSA approved, this is to be commended. So that's my comment. Thank you.
I just have one follow-up on the facilities with, to Mr. Mirza and his department and Mr. Ernesto Moore and his crew, the classified staff that helps maintain our campuses. Appreciate their hard work there. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Ms. Texoni is absent.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. We have a 4-0-1. PAR, Personnel Action Report, Ms. Shaw.
Okay, we had the amended part here. We've added Aaron Zorn as a special education teacher who will be joining us August the 1st. And then there was a typo under athletic coaches. Mari McClaws, the first name we had misspelled. And then we added multiple subject teacher for High Desert under current open positions.
Okay, let me do those one time with you real quickly. So the first
Okay.
one was the certificate employees at the top.
Yes,
We're
sir.
adding,
Aaron Zorn, special education teacher,
okay, and is that at
effective
various
August
sites
1st, to be determined.
to be determined?
Mhm.
And then the correction in the athletic coaches.
At the very bottom.
I believe Marie McLeod's name is spelled correctly. Are you talking about it's italicized?
Right, it was spelled M-A-R-Y on the original
okay,
part, and we
gotcha.
corrected it to M-A-R-I.
Oh, so it's M-A-R-I, okay.
It's
cool.
M-A-R-I.
It's correct on mine. Thank you.
Okay, and then the last one,
Under current open positions, we added multiple subject teacher for High Desert,
multiple subject, multiple credential.
multiple subject
Yeah,
credential
okay,
teacher.
cool. Yeah, High Desert, okay,
And those are the only corrections.
okay. Board member discussion?
I have none other than the fact that now I see it's italicized and those are the corrections. Thank you, Mrs. Shaw.
And this is Ken. Is my understanding H. Miller is on here?
Yes.
Yes.
H. Miller is one of those teachers that you don't appreciate until you're 28 years old and you can write a sentence properly and fill out the job application and sit through a job interview. H. Miller, you have been a pillar of this district. It is unfortunate that we have to stay here and you get to go on vacation.
Chad, any questions? Got a comment?
I echo Ken's sentiments, and that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I just want to, Heidi Miller, I've known her from some time, and I appreciate your hard work, Heidi. All the best, go moving forward. No further discussion, call the question on the part.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Ms. Pars Texoni is absent. We have 4-0-1. 10B, presentation school calendar, Ms. Shaw.
All righty. I have Miss Nicole Chun here with me on the Zoom. We have a presentation regarding the school calendar. And real briefly, before we begin, I'd just like to thank Michelle Fernandez and Marilyn Alford. They worked with me to put together the original survey that we put out to parents, and the results are what Nicole is gonna go over here. And we have a tentative calendar also that she's gonna present here in just a minute. She was unable to be with us in person, so she's on the Zoom.
Okay, hopefully my internet is going to work for us. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, So in anticipation of building our calendar, the district and the union created a joint committee and created a survey to survey stakeholders. We collected 231 survey responses, the majority of which were parents. 147 parents responded, and then 75 district employees responded. And then we had 3 students and 6 community members as well give input. So based on those responses, we had some different calendar options, and the majority of respondents indicated that they preferred a start date of August 17th with a 3-week winter break, and then an end date of June 9th. Also, asking the question regarding when spring break should be, the majority of respondents indicated that they would prefer to continue to have spring break connected to Easter Sunday. And so as a result of that, this would be a sample calendar with those dates. Can't read my own slide. So with the first day of school being August 17th, the fall break being in November 21st through 25th, winter break extending for 3 weeks into January 6th, and then spring break April 10th through the 14th in conjunction with Easter Sunday, and the last day of school on June 9th. In addition, this has been shared before by Mrs. Van Ornum to the HD parents, but High Desert would like to move to a block schedule. For me, the greatest benefit, of course, is to allow for those deeper learning experiences that time grants you. But there are many benefits to block schedule. And again, this is not new information. This has been shared, but here are some samples of what that block schedule would look like for 5-6 and for 7-8. In addition, we are looking and exploring the possibility of creating a 2-1-2 schedule, which would be an early release Wednesdays for students with a maximum day for staff. So there are many benefits to that. Many districts do this. Obviously, it creates time for instruction and collaboration, and these opportunities to review data and build professional development. Research supports that job embedded professional development is probably the most effective. And then in addition, we have potential to address student needs, perhaps even provide additional enrichment opportunities. So we know there are a couple considerations in doing that, and we are still doing the work on this. And of course, the first consideration must be that we ensure that we meet the instructional minute requirements, which does require some challenging math, but we have spreadsheets to help us. And then the second consideration is that impact on families of childcare, because we did have some respondents indicate that yes, they would be interested in after school programs or childcare should we move to a 2-1-2 schedule. And that is all I have to present. I did put on here that you had no questions, but I thought that might be, presumptive.
You're so clever, Nicole. Board member discussion, Ms. Jensen?
No, thank you, Nicole. Great presentation. So we're looking at early releases on Wednesday, correct?
Yes, that is the plan.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Chun, it's Cam, how are you this evening? I guess that was a rhetorical question. Is this an action item?
No.
Ms. Chun, what I would like to know is the Wednesdays. I noticed you talked about offsetting the ability of teachers to be able to get together and do this thing that needs to be done rather than you do it once a year when the school year starts and call it the day. I like the idea. I don't think we should lose customers over it. So staff administrators, if the offset to this is finding a way for people, I'm gonna say this. I'm jumping into an empty pool here, but it has always struck me at work that the parent who has a child who gets sick has to run off, and I don't want to get into gender and all this kind of thing, but the parent who is responsible for the child becomes secondarily important in the workplace. So when it comes to evaluation, yeah, but you had to go pick up your child, and you know, we can't depend on you for this or that kind of thing. I don't want to see that being triggered by this. So I fully support the idea that we would have an ability for staff to get together on a basis. I think the understanding here was that this is weekly, Ms. Chun.
Correct.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean that everyone should take off work early in LA to come home every Wednesday afternoon because they don't have an option. So administrators, please support what they want to do and report back that there's something in place. I don't want to lose customers because there's some private school or charter school that will open up by Tony Alamos and give you free daycare, and then ultimately get shot down by the state who approved them anyway. Block schedules. I went to a high school that had trimesters, and it's kind of like you look at UCLA, you're cycling classes every 8 weeks instead of 4 sets of classes. So things speed up, and I'm not sure everybody learns as much. So the idea that you get everybody in their chair, it takes 10 minutes to get everybody to sit down and do whatever they do, and then you're winding down, everybody's checking out, you got 40 minutes of instruction. I actually thought trimesters was a good thing. I would like to hear in your background, other than convenience of whoever's doing what, I'd like to see some educational data on just generally people that have block schedules, what do the scores look like, and just anything to support that from an educational aspect outside of the calendar. Other than that, how was the survey run where people were able to tell me what the outreach process looked like for this? Like, was it on the district website? Was it an all call? Was it email?
I believe it was sent through Blackboard to everybody via email. It was also mentioned in Monday minutes and posted on the district website.
Okay, so when I first started coming to board meetings 10 years ago, I would remember that they would end up having to redo the survey 3 different times because somebody didn't like the results up here or something. So what district staff is telling me is this survey here is the end all be all to your recommendation. Is that right? Okay.
Yes, this is the survey.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Chad, you have, Brianna, are you online? Nope, Chad, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to Ms. Chun for putting together the presentation, and Ms. Shaw. I don't really have much to add other than I do like the concept of the block scheduling for High Desert. I think being able to allow the kids to be in the classroom for longer periods of time might be beneficial for the students learning and the teachers instructing. So outside of that, I really have no other comments.
Nicole, I have just, so I get that we have as teachers that we get our kids and they like, get them in their seats, we take roll, we get into instruction, and now we go to block schedule. I think it's really important to keep the kids there because kids adapt and they absorb things at different speeds. It gives an opportunity for the staff to present the material in a timely fashion, scaffolding, making sure all the opportunities for interaction from the students are there. And this is something that's been generated from site personnel at the High Desert, wasn't it?
Yes.
That there was an interest on behalf of the site and the site administrator wanting to transition to a block schedule in our middle school.
I believe it was an outcropping of a conversation among the
Okay,
staff.
so it's something that the teachers have an understanding of the expectations and the requirements. Rather than a 40-minute or a 50-minute class, they're going to be going to, how long is that? What's the standard length of one of these block classes? Is it 90 minutes? Is it 100 minutes? Or what is it? Approximately, I don't know, but it's not going to be, it's going to be like 1.5 periods approximately.
I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. I'm gonna have to look. I believe they're 93 minutes or something like that.
Okay, so my only thing is that I'm glad to hear it, that it's good, but I want to make sure that there's enough PD that the staff knows what they have to do to keep their students engaged so they can get into labs and get into these projects and these makerspace and all these things that we're putting in place. They have time to take everything out of the box and actually do something with it before they have to put it back at the end of the period. That's the advantage of this block scheduling, that the kids can get introduced to a topic and have time to work with it before they have, let's say, start wrapping up. We got to get ready to go to the next period. So I appreciate all the hard work that you're doing, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a positive for our middle school.
Well, professional development specific to working in a block schedule is 100% part of the plan. I think the whole school board knows how I feel about professional development, so you know that's at the front of my thoughts, and I know Mrs. Van Ornum agrees.
Okay, you're on the spot. We got you. Thank you very much.
Can I ask one more question, Kim?
Sure.
Mrs. Shaw, what time are they looking at for early release? Has that been discussed yet, or is that still something you guys are tossing around? Like approximately
We were.
1 hour early, 2 hours early, half day, what?
It looked like it was going to be about
70 minutes, I think, is what we're calculating with right now.
Okay, thank you.
So they're going to be released 70 minutes early
70 on Wednesdays.
on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
No further discussion. We'll move on. That's a discussion. Thank you, Ms. Chun. We're at 10C. Agreement for consultant services with Transcends Family Therapy. Ms. Shaw. Oh, wait, let me take it back. Do we have a motion to consider 10C, please?
So moved.
Kelly? I'll second. Okay, now Michelle, sorry.
Thank you. This is for assessment for one of our special education students.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call it.
No.
What's the amount of the contract?
$20,000, up to $20,000.
This is for one student.
Yes, sir.
Are they on contract to be able to do other students?
No.
Okay, next.
Is it not to exceed 20? Is that what that is?
Yes, not to exceed.
Okay. Chad, anything?
No comments from me. Thank you.
Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraf abstain.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. Miss Taxoni is absent, so we have a 3-1-1 vote. Motion passes. 10D, agreement for consultant services with Ruth Jane. Motion to consider, please.
Chad moves it in.
Chad? I'll second. Ms. Shaw.
This is an agreement with Ruth James to provide leadership consulting services for all three of our principals.
Board member discussion?
My understanding is this agreement provides for billing to be done on an actual per hour is described as per hour to each site administrator. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So if I'm at this site and they spend 4 hours, they will bill and identify what supports are necessary for that site level.
Yes, sir.
Is this in addition to the credentialing assistant consultant that you have for the development of another principal?
Yes.
Thank you.
I just want to clarify that this is for all three principals at all three schools, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Nothing further. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. We have a 4-0-1 absent, Ms. Taxoni. 10E, Western Governors University Student Teaching Letter of Agreement. Motion to consider. I'll move.
Kelly Jensen, second.
Kelly, Ms. Shaw.
This is a standard student teaching agreement with Western Governors University to provide student teachers.
Board member discussion? Coming down the road, I have a question. So these are student teachers, these are young people who are working for their teacher credential, correct?
Yes,
In concurrence with what they're doing in the classroom?
yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Any further discussion by the board? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. Ms. Texoni is absent. We have a 4-0-1 motion carries. 10F, intern program agreement by between Acton Agua Dulce USD and California State University Bakersfield. Motion to consider.
So moved, Kelly.
Kelly,
Chad will second.
Chad, Ms. Shaw.
This is also a standard agreement, but this one is with Cal State Bakersfield for their intern program.
Board member
For-
discussion.
Sorry, for teachers.
Board member discussion. I have a question for clarification because this Cal State University is one of the universities that I work part-time at, and I have a couple of interns, so I don't know that if I can vote on this or not. But I have a question now. The intern, if we were to obtain the services of an intern from Cal State Bakersfield, they're in their credential building program, and they're an intern.
Mhm.
They are essentially a paid employee doing a job of a teacher full-time while they're working, right?
Yes,
So it's like a teacher in training that we're paying to be here, unlike student teaching is not paid to be here. This one is being paid to be here,
has their own class.
have their own class, and they have a mentor teacher at that site that supports them while they're continuing academic work at the university and they're getting the experience. So it's like a hybrid of a student teacher, but we're paying them.
Right,
And then the hope is that they're
they'll
gonna
stay
stick
with
around.
us. Mhm.
Okay, so I don't know if I need to recuse myself because I'm on, no, okay,
Be safe. I think we may have enough votes to carry.
okay. Any further discussion from the board?
None for me.
Tim, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Chad, I'm going to abstain just for the sake of we have motion carries 3-0-1. I'll put them up here. 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 1. Yeah, two, 1 absent, 1 abstain. Okay, item number 11A was tabled to our May meeting. So we're going to 11B, E-rate bid evaluation matrix, UPS and firewall. Motion to consider.
Kelly Jensen, so moved.
Kelly,
Chad will move, second.
Chad, Michelle.
All righty, I have a song here too.
Hello, good evening, board members. So this is through our E-rate program that we go to purchase our technology. And so in this particular bid, they went out for bid for our UPS and our firewall, and it provides the district, we're not paying full cost for these products. We're paying about 10-15% of the total cost.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
We're paying about 10 to 15% of the total cost of the firewall and the UPS. And so it provides these products to us at a discounted rate. E-rate goes out and does our bidding for us. And so that way we're in complying with all the purchasing regulations.
Cool. Board member discussion?
Explain UPS, please.
Universal power supply.
Uninterrupted power supply. Isn't that what it is?
Uninterrupted?
Uninterrupted power supply.
Okay.
I was thinking it was FedEx.
I didn't think that, but I just need to clarify, maybe some people in the audience as well.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
I have a clarification. Mr. Mirza and I invented copper wire by fighting over a penny. So what you did is you piggybacked this bid off of other agencies is what you did.
It wasn't a piggyback per se, but they went out for bid.
So this
Formal
bid
yes.
company is like good at beating people down into the ground.
Yes.
So do I have to pay to watch the game in New Jersey?
No.
Perfect, thank you.
Chad?
No comments, sorry.
I have no comments, no further questions, no further discussion, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. 401, Ms. Texoni is absent. 11C, year-end appropriation transfers, motion to consider.
Chad moves.
Chad?
Kelly second.
Kelly? Ms. Shaw?
All righty, I also have a song for this one.
Speak up, young man.
Okay, so this is our year-end appropriation transfers. It's a standard form that we need filled out and approved by the board. So we're heading into budget and closing the year out. And so this would allow us to transfer money and shift expenses to say we overspent or say we found general fund expenses that qualify for Title I. I'll be able to do that without coming every single time to get approval.
So this isn't necessarily you're doing it. This just gives you the ability to in case you need to.
In case I need to.
Correct. Okay.
When I started coming to board meetings, this is the opportunity you would have to move the extra money, like the reserve, into what do you call that? Deferred maintenance, right? And that would make you look really poor during the middle of negotiations. You know what I'm talking about. And then when it's done, then after that, then Lakeland would send you a letter and say, oh, you can't do that. And then you would move the money back after it was too late. And that creates the kind of mistrust I think people were talking about, which I used to write editorials about, not support. So there's none of that in here, right?
No.
I hope not. Thank you.
Chad has no questions.
I have none, no further discussion, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. 401, Ms. Texoni is absent. 11,
Wait a minute. Do I get extra credit for that lesson?
no.
Bummer.
No.
He said yes.
I said no. Cut that mic up. 11D, resolution 2021-22.13, authorizing use of remote teleconferencing provisions, AB 361. Motion to consider.
So moved, Kelly Jensen.
Kelly. Tim seconds. Ms. Shaw.
Isn't this a
I
monthly
believe this
thing
is
we're
the
required to
monthly
do to
one
wear
that-
masks? Wonderful. This is what lets us see Chad close up. Chad, you're 3 times the size of the rest of us. Thank you. It's the best Miss America wave I've ever seen.
That's just the size of my head.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. 401, Ms. Texoni is absent. 11E, resolution number 2021-22.14 to order biennial governing board election. Ms. Shaw. Oh, excuse me, motion to consider.
Kelly Jensen, so moved.
Kelly,
Chad seconds.
Chad, Ms. Shaw.
Okay, this is step one to begin the election process. We'll have 4 open seats, 3 for 4-year terms and 1 for a 2-year term.
No, 1, 2, 2 for 4 and 1 for 2. It's 2, 1. 3, who's the third one?
Everybody except you.
Chad, I thought Chad was a 4.
No, he ran.
I'm 2.
Oh, so we do have 3, 1, sorry.
That's right.
I was trying, Chad, trying to get.
Nice try, Tim.
3 for 4-year terms and 1 for 2-year term.
Yeah,
So 4 openings for election in November.
right. Board member discussion.
Does anyone have a clean copy, a digital copy of Kelly's signature?
I have the one that we can stamp it. We'll just make it.
Good luck, people. Good luck. I can't wait to be out there.
Hearing nothing further, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraph, aye. Aye, yes, aye.
Start us off, right? Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. 401. Ms. Texoni is absent. Moving on, 12A, okay, second read, 12A has been tabled for amendment earlier to our May meeting. We're moving to 13. These are first reads. I'm going to get them into the books. First read of administrative regulations and board policies, agenda items B through S. Michelle.
All right, these board policies are routine updates of B through S. And my understanding is that you're going to read each of them
I'm going to do one at a time. So we
One at
got
a
the
time.
first one in.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 13B, first read administrative regulations, AR 5125 and board policy BP 5125. Michelle?
So this is a board policy regarding student records, and it is just a routine update.
Board member, is there any board member, if you have any discussions when we go to, just let me know. please.
I'm gonna have a discussion item. I was gonna ask if we could group the discussion. First off, I'm gonna ask if these were run by legal.
Michelle?
Were these
Oh.
run by legal?
Yes,
Are they at the recommendation of the state of California?
yes,
The last update was 2005.
yes.
I see everyone's been busy between then and now. So I guess they weren't, sorry, I'm being facetious. So did the board ask anyone to update these policies, or somebody just decide to start doing their job in the administrative level? Yes. So if there are 19 items here, are there any of these that don't fit the same answer I got about the other 18 or 17 or whatever?
No.
Thank you. So I'm going to suggest we blow through these very quickly, read the title, and I'm not going to have any discussion. If anybody else does, that's great.
Moving on, 13C, first read board policy BP 5125.1, administrative regulation AR 5125.1, release of directory information.
I will move.
I'll
That's
second.
These are not, these are.
We
just-
don't, these aren't.
We don't, there's
we
no
don't vote on
motions.
these.
We're just reading them out loud, getting them into the record.
Yeah.
13D, first read, administrative regulation AR 5125.2, withholding grades, diploma or transcripts. 13E, first read, administrative regulation AR 5125.3, challenging student records. 13F, first read, administrative regulation and board policy AR 5126, board policy 5126, awards for achievement. 13G, first read, board policy BP 5127, graduation ceremonies and activities. 13H, first read, board policy BP 5131, conduct. 13H, 13I, first read, administrative regulation and board policy AR 5131.1, board policy 5131.1, bus conduct. 13J, first read, board policy BP 5131.4, administrative regulation AR 5131.4, campus disturbances. 13K, first read, board policy BP 5131.5, vandalism, theft, and graffiti. 13L, first read, board policies BP 5131.6, alcohol and other drugs. 13M, first read, board policy 5131.61, drug testing. 13N, first read, administrative regulation and board policy AR 5131.62, board policy 5131.52, tobacco. I have one on this here. Question on this one is, did is this the one that would be also regarding vaping? Is there one on vaping? I didn't see one and I just wanted to bring it up at this point. Tobacco and vaping. I don't know if we just want to highlight vaping and use of vaping devices.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's in there? Okay. Thank you. 13, first read administrative regulation, board policy AR 5131.63 and board policy 5131.63 steroids. 13P, like in Paul, first read administrative regulation, board policy AR 5131.7, board policy 5131.7 weapons and dangerous instruments. 13Q, first read administrative regulation, board policy AR 5132, board policy 5132, dress and grooming. 13R, first read administrative regulation, board policies AR 5136, board policy 5136, gangs. 13S, like in Sam, first read board policy BP 5137, positive school climate. Okay, got this. 14, calendar. The next board meeting is scheduled for May 12th after we return from spring break. Our spring break will be April 18th through the 22nd. We'll have two meetings in May, May 12th, and the second one will be on May 26th. Future agenda items. Any board member have any future agenda items? Hearing none, moving on. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Kelly
Chad.
Jensen,
Ladies first.
Second. Sorry, I had to say that. Chad, seconds. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Paul Graff, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Jorgensen, aye. 401, Ms. Tuxtony is absent. Thank you, everyone, and everyone, please have a safe and restful spring break and Easter holiday.
Good night. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chad.